Hey guys, it's Coach K, and today we're going to talk about the 2 ways to set up into our jump shot. Now obviously when we're trying to take a jump shot, we're trying to take it at maximum efficiency with the quickest time possible, but without compromising our accuracy. So today we're going to break down the 2 ways that we can actually set up into that jump shot so that hopefully we can maximize the possibility of scoring depending on the situation. All right, so the 2 ways that we can set up into our jump shot are either the jump stop or the 1-2 pull-up. And a quick breakdown of each one is a jump stop is essentially when we're dribbling and then we get into a jump and then we pick up the ball and get into our triple threat position where we can take the jump shot. And then the second approach is obviously the 1-2 pull-up, where we're dribbling and we're getting into our jump shot with the 2 steps, a 1-2 set up and then getting into our jump shot. So starting off with our jump stop, essentially the biggest advantage that we have is how quick it is. So if you think about it and you compare both jump shots, a jump stop is essentially just 1 step. We're stepping with both feet at the same time and then we're shooting. On the other hand, when we look at the 1-2, it's 2 steps, 1-2. So we're taking about double the time to get into our jump shot. So if we want to get our shot off real quick, a jump stop is a better approach or a better choice to take than the 1-2 pull-up. So the second advantage that we have to a jump stop is that we can pivot off both feet. So essentially, if I'm dribbling and I jump stop and now I want to take my shot, but there's a defender that's contesting that shot, I can pivot with either my right foot or my left foot trying to find someone to pass to. All right, the only disadvantage to a jump stop is essentially that it limits your range compared to the 1-2 pull-up. So when we think of the jump stop, as I jump, I'm letting all of my forward momentum go down into the ground, and now I have to regenerate that force while I'm shooting the basketball. On the other hand, which we're going to talk about in a minute, the 1-2 pull-up actually keeps or stores that momentum in our body and is going to transfer it into the basketball a lot easier, meaning that we're going to have deeper range when we take a 1-2 pull-up. So now that we've broken down the jump stop, let's get into the 1-2 pull-up. The biggest advantage for the 1-2 pull-up, which we kind of touched on a second ago, is the range that it gives us. Again, when we approach with a 1-2, we're essentially running or we're walking up the floor, and so our momentum is going forward with our steps. If we go 1-2, we're not breaking that momentum, we're not breaking that flow, we're getting into it. And again, that momentum is forward because we're walking or running forward, and so as we come in with a 1-2, ideally or naturally our body is going to lean forward, is going to push forward, all the momentum is going forward, meaning that the ball is going to go further if we want it to. Now the second advantage to a 1-2 approach is that we can create space and alter our jump shot depending on the situation. We're kind of limited with the jump stop because again, we don't have that many steps. We're jumping, we're stopping. Yes, we can pivot, so sometimes we might get a step through to try to finish, but it's not a jump shot. On the other hand, when we look at the 1-2, we can create space before we shoot. And a very simple example is a step back or a side step. If you notice the footwork, it is a 1-2. We're gonna dribble and then we're going back 1-2 on a step back, or we're dribbling, we're going 1-2 sideways on a side step. So these are 2 examples, and you can take any separation move and break it down, and you'll see that about 95% of them, we're using a 1-2 approach because it's the best way to create space in basketball. Now the disadvantage of a 1-2 approach is obviously that our pivot is limited. Again, in the jump stop, we can pivot with either foot and we can find our teammates very easily. That's not the case with the 1-2. Yes, we can create space, but sometimes if the defender is good enough or if the move was not at a perfection level, that defender might close out, and now you're in a tough situation where you can only pivot with 1 foot, and it's a lot harder to find your teammates when you only have 1 pivot. Now we're gonna break down a few drills that are going to improve our jump stop and our 1-2 pull-up so that hopefully you'll master both and you can run both depending on the situation in the game. All right, so the first drill that we're going to talk about is a fairly simple drill, but it's highly effective when we're trying to master both footworks. All we're doing is we're starting around a little bit in front of the top of the key, and we're gonna roll the ball to ourselves and get into a certain footwork and then get into our jump shot. So a quick demonstration, if we're here, we're gonna spin the ball to ourselves, spin it backwards, and then we're jumping if we're doing a jump stop into our jump shot, or we're again rolling it 1-2 into our jump shot. Now again, on a 1-2, we can go right left and we can go left right, and we want to practice both in this situation. So we might go once with a right left approach, and the second time, boom, left right into our jump shot. All right, the second drill that we're gonna talk about is, again, it's a little bit more complex. That's after we've mastered the basics, where we've learned our 1-2 off both feet and our jump stop. Now we're gonna get into a more game-specific type of drill, okay? Now we can do this from the mid-range area, but we can also do it from the three-point line if we have that range already, all right? What we're gonna do is, we're gonna bring the ball up, we're gonna dribble the ball up all the way to whatever spot we're shooting from. So in my case, I'm gonna be shooting from the three-point, but you can shoot, again, from anywhere around the court. You're gonna bring the ball up about 70% speed, and then you're gonna get into that footwork into your jump shot. Whether it's a jump stop, whether it's a 1-2, again, we're practicing both. So once again, the two ways that we can set up into our jump shot are the 1-2 pull-up and the jump stop. Make sure you master both of them so that you can get your jumper off regardless of the situation.